Coach, your reflections after tonight's matchup against Racing.
Yeah, I think again the I think for the majority of it we control it. Obviously, it's a very difficult team to play against if you don't score early because they're very direct. They slow the game down. They play their own way. Uh, it was really a game that it was going to be decided by the team that was able to be good in front of goal. Obviously, they scored an amazing goal with Taylor Flynn, so congratulate them from here. I think we had the chances definitely to probably at least draw the game or win it, but in this case we didn't. I think still is a process for us. We saw at the end with the players coming on a lot of still very young roster trying to we are growing for the long term, and today it took us. Oh, sorry, we obviously lost the game, but this group keep learning, keep growing, and I'm still proud of them.
All right, we'll start with Jenna.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Coach, for taking the time. Coming off of this match and also the match against Chicago, these were two games where the teams are pretty comfortable letting you possess the ball and move it around, and then here it was a draw against Chicago, but here they were able to kind of get you with that amazing Flint worldie. I'm just kind of curious, kind of your thoughts on how the team can do better when a team like Louisville is kind of dominating on the defensive side of the sheet, even though you outshot them, outpossessed them, and kind of what your sense of that is for the team.
Yeah, I think it's important for us to be able to be effective in front of goal. I think obviously the games that we've been able to win, we've also taken our chances. At the end of the day, this is football, and you don't win games for having more possession or having more shots. You need to score, and when you don't score, it becomes a little bit harder. There is still, a lot of where I always like to see the glass half full. Today. We could have Jess Carter for 45 minutes, Mandy for another 45, Jason and Mitch. Now they gone a little bit higher up on the minutes, which also helps, like the team step by step. I think we were in that process, and I think the more time that we play together, that we get to know each other on the pitch, that we're able to compete, that having Sophia Cook back in, I think everyone started to see what she can bring. I think it is who we are gonna be, and I think the longer the season goes on, obviously the better we're gonna be.
And I just wanted to ask about the decision to take off Neely for Taryn. Was that a tactical change, or and just in general, some of the subs were these tactical, or is it still because of limited minutes?
No, I think that probably was almost the only tactical or decision that we made. Also, Sarah for Ella, I think Ella could give us something, and she definitely did. Obviously, still she's coming back after the injury, so it's taking her a little bit of time to get her form. But she was fantastic today, Ella Stevens, and I think with Taryn, what we were looking for, it was obviously to try to have a little bit more of penetration on the ball. I think we had the complete control of the game. Neely did a very good job during the time that she played, and then she came on. We obviously had those other conditions on Jess Carter, on Jace, on Mitch. That when you prepare the game plan, they obviously have an influence because you already need to think ahead of those apps. But for me, it's always about protecting the players, making sure that they are good for the long run, and step by step, those things are important. No?
And last one for me, and thank you so much for taking the time. On the broadcast, they mentioned that the team is targeting end of the month for a Rose Lavelle return. I just wanted to ask for some clarification on that.
Well, I think with Rose, we are still working on it. There is nothing confirmed from me or the club that is the target. Obviously, it's a player that's working incredibly hard behind the scenes to be able to help the team. It's obviously an important player for us. I hope we can have her with us as soon as possible. But at the moment, we don't have a specific timeline in terms of when she will be back.
Okay, so that target at the end of the month is not accurate. Is that?
Well, the target what we are doing is trying to get her as soon as possible in the best shape possible, and that takes a little bit of a process. So I'm not in a position where I can really confirm that, the target is the end of the month at the moment.
Understood. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Gina.
Any other English questions for Juan? All right, then take it away, Luis.
Buenas noches, coach. Luis Rodríguez de la línea Podcast por acá. Difícil derrota, ¿verdad? Después de estos últimos partidos que han tenido, donde iban encontrando quizás la idea. O sea, ¿con qué sensaciones te quedas de este partido? Y siempre hay algo que se puede rescatar del partido. ¿Con qué te quedas de este partido?
Bueno, creo que defensivamente hemos estado de nuevo bastante bien, hemos limitado sus ocasiones, creo que la mejor ocasión la tiene el primer tiempo en ese mano a mano con que han salva, pero aparte de eso prácticamente no han tenido ocasiones, pero han marcado un auténtico golazo y creo que eso es positivo. Y luego creo que hemos creado también a través del juego más ocasiones que probablemente la semana pasada, ¿no? Creo que eso también es positivo, pero al final el fútbol son goles y no hemos conseguido, ¿no? Abrir la lata hoy y eso al final nos ha costado los 3 puntos, claro.
Quería también preguntarte, la otra vez cuando estuvieron en Washington, le pregunté a Esther, ¿verdad? Sobre la temporada. Sabemos que la temporada es larga, lo importante es clasificarnos entre los primeros 8 para llegar a los playoffs. O sea, ¿cuáles son las metas de este proyecto que estás teniendo ahora mismo este año con el equipo?
Nuestra meta ahora mismo es ganarle a San Diego la semana que viene e intentar darlo todo en México para ganar esa competición de la CONCACAF. Esos son nuestros objetivos más a largo plazo, o sea, a corto plazo, y luego el seguir construyendo para poder llegar en la mejor forma posible al break de julio y ya apretar al final de temporada también para terminar lo más alto posible la liga y ganar el Championship. Nosotros siempre jugamos para ganar, así que al final en esta liga lo más importante es el día a día y creo que estoy contento con cómo el equipo está trabajando, está haciendo las cosas. Creo que tenemos que pulir ciertos detalles, pero poco a poco vamos creciendo, ¿no?